Okay, so there's an increasingly long list of things that you're not allowed to say in public. And when you do, you get attacked by a whole lot of people. So this lady, Sarah Good, she stepped on the hornet's nest by saying that women should get married and have babies young. She says fertility drops dramatically in women by age 27. We need to stop lying to them. Early marriage, kids, then career. And of course, a firestorm ensued. You know, we live in a time where more and more people are experiencing infertility. And one of the things that you can't say is that the number one cause of infertility is age. It's age. And so if you're having your kids later than your early 20s, your first kid, later than your early 20s, and you're struggling to get pregnant as a woman, then the most likely culprit is your age. Now, people who lack critical thinking ability will try to argue from the exception here and say, I know a person who's 53 and they had a baby. I know a woman who's 53 and she had a baby. Therefore, that's not true. Okay, but statistically, how does that work over time? And was it that woman's first child? These questions matter. Well, this poor lady got skewered, but here's some interesting things that came out of the conversation. First off, is this graph, which I did not make. I don't know the data it's based on. I bookmarked this a while ago. I may have looked at it, but I don't know if I did. And what this shows is that as a woman gets older, the outcomes for getting pregnant, for delivering the baby, and for the baby after delivery, they drop. In every case, they go up when that female is way too young to be having babies. Or as she gets older, they go up. And then, earlier than pretty much anyone is comfortable admitting, they start going down again. So you see every one of these. It gets better and then it gets worse. It gets better and then it gets worse. It gets better and then it gets worse, right? These are well-established facts. And yet, if you try to point them out, people will get very, very angry with you. And the basis of their anger is not factual. It's based on other things. Now, here's a really interesting graph. This person says, women, oh, here you go. My aunt got pregnant at 50, right? I wasn't making that up. That's an argument from the exception, all right? It's like, my aunt, don't play the lottery. Statistically speaking, you're better off doing pretty much anything with the money. Well, my aunt won the lottery. Everyone should play. All right, anyway, so this person says, sorry, I have to move this around to see the whole thing. This person says, people had kids in their 30s and 40s all the time in history. Okay, so we're looking at 1900 to 1910. You know, they split this out by race. Who cares? Now, look at these rates. So we're looking at overall and marital fertility. And it's split out by age. These different rows are races. Okay? Now, what do you see as the age increases? Fertility rates are really low from 15 to 19. Then from 20 to 24, they get really high. From 25 to 29, they're really high. From 30 to 34, they drop off. The next age bracket, 35 to 39, they drop off some more. At 40, they fall off a cliff because a 0 is added after the decimal. At 45 to 49, it happens again. Right? So these are 5-year brackets. And the pattern's very clear. So this person posted this graph as if it supported the idea that people had kids in their 30s and 40s all the time historically. Is that true? No, it isn't. Okay? No, it isn't. Most people had most of their kids right here. Right? If you put this into a curve, there'd be the highest part of the curve would be right here. And it starts dropping down again. And it's pretty much mirrored across here, and then it falls off the cliff. Now, it's even worse than that, because this table does not say whether it's the first kid or not. And if we had that data here, I guarantee you that what would happen is there'd be an even sharper drop-off, even earlier than what you see here. Now, why do I bring this up and spend the time on it? In the end times, we face greater complexity, and you have to become more sophisticated in your ability to think critically and analyze data. You need to be able to do it faster, and you need to be able to do it better. You need to look at a table like this and say, now wait a second, is this the first kid or all kids? It's all kids, because it would say so otherwise. They have a special word for the first kid. So if you're looking at a graph of that, you'll see that word. I don't remember what it is, otherwise I'd use it. So as you're just cruising through social media and you're seeing the fighting back and forth, are you a typical person that just has their mind already made up and you're filtering out everything, just looking for what supports your already made up mind? Are you responding with emotions rather than questions and facts? Are you able to look at a table like this and see that actually it supports the opposite position? Or do you just say, oh, they have data, they must be right? Do you look at a table like that and ask the questions of, is this a first child or a subsequent child? And if all that seems overwhelming to you, or you're not very good at it, or it takes you forever, you need to realize something. You are not cut out for this. Not yet. So you either need to grow, or, and even if you do grow in the meantime, you need to come up with better tools to identify trustworthy sources. Now, I know that subsequent to COVID, that phrase probably rattles a lot of people the wrong way. You see, historically, everyone leaned on quote-unquote trusted sources. But what happened was they were provided to society through institutionally. In the fallout from COVID, these institutions have lost all trust in anyone with half a brain, because we know now that those institutions were very corrupt and had foolish leadership or corrupted leadership. And so they pushed lies. And they fought truth. And they did so extensively. And so this has created a vacuum. But unfortunately, the reaction in most cases is that people have decided that they don't need folks who are smarter than them, and they can just figure it out for themselves. And that is a very, very bad conclusion to take from all of this. Actually, we need people smarter than us more than ever. More than ever. And through time, you're going to see the importance increase, not decrease. Why? Because there's no magic button that you can push to increase the IQ of normal people. But the IQ needed to see through all this garbage continues to increase. Now, I say IQ, I actually mean intelligence. And it's much broader than that. But these are things that we need to learn to contend with. And people don't want to hear it. It's not a pleasant thing to hear. And increasingly, the folks who can see the truth need to speak up about it more, even though they're going to face increased hostility for doing so. Okay?